Welcome back, Wolfpack Verlis here, and this is how to use Infernape. So Infernape stats, they're kind of crazy that when we look at it, 76 on the hit points, 70s on defenses, we're going to be pretty much a sweeper Pokemon and closer to a glass cannon. And we're not looking to survive too many hits, and we do have some diversity. So we're outspeeding 105 base speed Pokemon with a really interesting 108 base speed. So a lot of Pokemon have 110. I feel like 110 is like the main comfort area for being speedy, but 346 speed at level 100 with like full investment stuff, not bad at all. So we do outspeed a lot of Pokemon, like 100, 105 base speed, and that is a lot of Pokemon when we get to that range. So it's looking pretty good. And then with the attack and special attack, even though it doesn't seem like a lot, like 104 attack, Infernape does get a lot of high base power moves like Flare Blitz and Close Combat, so that 104 attack still very usable, and with the special attack just gives you a little bit of depth and diversity, so this is fairly usable. Look at its typing, it's a fire fighting Pokemon. Boo! But that's going to just give us a lot of weaknesses too, like flying, ground, water, and psychic. We have 4 weaknesses, but as a sweeper Pokemon, I guess we don't really care too much about the weaknesses, and we do have a lot of resistances, interestingly enough. So the typing just means, like, you know, firefighting, that's going to be our main form of coverage, and that's what we're dealing with. Hopping into Pokemon Showdown, we're just going to look at your standard Infernape. Just, you come in, you go for some damage, Mach Punch, Close Combat, Flare Blitz, Earthquake. Sometimes you see Thunder Punch because you do have Elemental Punches, does synergize with Iron Fist, and other times you do see Fake Out. So the idea is you come in, fake out into Flare Blitz, that's just a KO. That if you outspeed it, you're going to find something between Flare Blitz, Close Combat, that leads into very high KO potential. Fake Out's going to be good for that. And then Mach Punch. Mach Punch is good for handling Focus Sash Pokemon that are a bit more like trying to set up. So you can really interrupt the setup with an Infernape, or if you just outspeed, you know, Close Combat doesn't have enough damage because they're bulky. You might be able to Mach Punch against something that's also trying to speed boost. So this just gives you a lot of coverage, options, priority, and whatever else you want. I have seen people take out Fake Out, I have seen people take out the Mach Punch. It just really depends on your situation, but having such a strong priority, stab boosted with Iron Fist and that Life Orb, you can find a lot of serious damage in just that Mach Punch, and you might want to save Infernape for the later game. Like, say if it somehow survives not that strong of a neutral hit and doesn't get hit super, bring in the late game and really clean up with some heavy Mach Punches, and that's going to be very powerful. Also, interestingly enough, Infernape is a good Focus Sash setup Pokemon because it's fast, and it can outspeed with a taunt. It can set up its own Stealth Rocks, interestingly enough. If it does get knocked down to 1 hit points, it has Endeavor. So you can maybe make an outplay, like if the opponent's faster, you just predict, like, okay, they're going to hit me, I'm most likely going to be put at 1 hit points from Focus Sash, I'll use Endeavor and Mach Punch, that's a KO. The next Pokemon that comes in, you can taunt them, you can set up the Stealth Rocks, so Infernape's going to be a good way of getting +1, that you're set up, you're trading kills, and you're actually going to be able to do really well on this. Also, sometimes, actually a lot of times, you see Infernape with a Focus Sash. That is the most common item on Battle Spot for an Infernape, but there is a really interesting thing about putting it on this set. Flare Blitz. It does recoil, but you'll still see Flare Blitz with a Focus Sash because your main idea is you come in, Fake Out, Close Combat, KO. Close Combat, Focus Sash, Mach Punch, and then you come in for a Flare Blitz. So as long as they're not, like, they're probably not going to switch in a Pokemon that's weak against fire anyways against an Infernape, so you just kind of hold on to Flare Blitz as that last resort, and then have the recoil knock you out, but you're already worrying about Close Combat, and you're already converting a lot of 2-hit KOs. So while it may seem counterintuitive, if you play it smart, it's still very powerful, and then you have Focus Sash outplays with Infernape, and that's just deadly. And then there's Nastyplot Infernape, and this is where it gets interesting because we have Vacuum Wave. We have a priority special attack getting boosted by Nastyplot and Stab, so that can play out into your favor really well. Also, Focus Sash, you know, you set up Nastyplot, Focus Sash gets procced. Blaze, 50% more damage on that Flamethrower. You don't need to worry about the low accuracy of Fire Blast. You just Flamethrower, get it out, and 105 or 104 base special attack, so 307, getting doubled, getting stab boosted. You're finding a lot of neutral KOs, and for some reason, firefighting Pokemon just tend to have Grass Knot, or a lot of fire Pokemon, they just pick up Grass Knot along the way, so you can use that to extend your coverage against water-type Pokemon, and with the Focus Sash, you know, Nastyplot, +2, Grass Knot. Now water Pokemon don't really threaten you too much, ground Pokemon don't really threaten you, and you can find your way through a lot of it. So again, just 108, as long as you're not getting outsped, Infernape is going to tear it up, and that's really all that you need to focus on. And then last of the singles Infernapes, we have Choice Scarf Infernape. It's got some interesting things behind it with that Choice Scarf, because that means now we can go Adamant Nature, we can just fully invest in speed. 108 doesn't need anything else, so Choice Scarf is boosting you well into a very safe range for a lot of things, except against other, like, timid or jolly choice scarfers, but I wouldn't worry about them too much. And Infernape also gets U-turn, so you can use Infernape as U-turn bait or just a lead Pokemon, and then the rest of that you're just outspeeding with stab close combat, stab flare blitz, high amounts of damage, a lot of safety in that speed, and you just try to pick up some KOs. If you have Stealth Rocks already set up from another Pokemon, going to be really easy just to kind of sweep with this set, and it can be hard to take down if your opponent just gets hit neutral by close combat and flare blitzes. Also Earthquake for that extra coverage. Pretty nasty set right here, gotta admit. Also Thunder Punch, you might see that as like some kind of flying handle. That is, if it isn't a Talonflame, with this Scarf you're gonna outspeed, hit him with that Thunder Punch, and they could go down pretty realistically, which means we're probably going to want an Iron Fist in this situation. And then lastly, Infernape is a terror in doubles. That first off, you know, we already saw Fake Out. So we can like Fake Out, we have Quick Guard support, we can run a Jolly Nature with a lot of high damage on close combat Flare Blitz, and it's just going to be a threat that has to sit there. You have to worry about at some point because it's doing serious amounts of damage, but then we have to look at it from a Spinda swap. So we have, you know, we just go Contrary, Skill Swap Spinda, however your variant is, whether you Focus Sash, whether you Scarf, whether you do, however you want to run that Spinda. Infernape actually combos interestingly with it, because as I said earlier, you know, these defenses aren't a lot, but it's fast. So the idea is, we get that skill swap in, and then we can really make use of that by close combating before our opponents attack. That if they don't outspeed us, we outspeed them, we get the defense boost instead of the defense drop, because now we have Contrary, and now we're getting defenses so we can become tanky before they hit us. And then Slack Off, so we have our own form of sustain. Citrus Berry is going to help this work out. And then Quick Guard is going to protect us from Fake Out. That I really like this because one thing that shuts down Spinda Swap is a good Fake Out, which means you can actually run probably a really safe Focus Sash Spinda on this, because you don't have to worry about Sash getting broken or anything. So you Quick Guard, Skill Swap's going off, now you're fast, now you go for that close combat, now you're tanky, then you Slack Off, you just outtake them. Spinda's providing disruption and support. It can do things like that, and then Overheat. Boom, this is where your win condition is. So you might have wondered, okay, why are you running Timid Nature if you're an Infernape using close combat? We're not doing close combat for the damage, we're doing it for the boost. Then we come in for an Overheat. Overheat's going to give us +2 special attack every time we use it. So once you set up 2 or 3 close combats, you're not taking damage, start using Overheats, and then this is kind of like the next level of Arcanine, that you just go for that Quick Guard instead of some kind of other setup, and it's going to keep you safe from the Fake Outs. But Infernape is less of a tanky Pokemon, that you can still get blown up pretty easily, so it's a little riskier against like pure offensive teams. But in that, you know, Infernape can make it work and can do really well. So that is my little Infernape set to shout out for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. That's how you use Infernape, and I hope you all have a nice day.